Hey, this is Nicolosi. Over the years, Mela users have been asking for more flexibility in the Mela plugins. Things like adding new modules, supporting more types of synthesis, deeper modulation capabilities, visualization, and flexible routing. I always kept promising that I would like to get to all that. But first, I had to re-architect Mela internally and externally to make all these features possible. During the development of Mela 3, I used the Mela MIDI plugin as an experimental playground to develop new ideas. In Mela 4, I took these ideas further and unified all three plugin types into one modular design. The new user interface and internal architecture allowed me to address a lot of user requests. Also, it's now easier to expand Mela's capabilities over time. You will notice the changelog for this version is quite long. So in this introduction video, I will focus on a few core features, but go deeper in future videos. Let me know if there are specific things you want me to discuss. I will demo the plugin on my iPad, but of course, Mela works great on the iPhone, iPad and the Mac. In this AUM session, you'll notice I have 3 instances of Mela 4 plugins loaded as an instrument, audio effect and a MIDI processor. They're all identical. The only difference between them is the supported number of audio and MIDI inputs and outputs. Going from Mela 3 to Mela 4 is a big jump. It feels like a whole new environment, yet if you are a Mela user, you will feel at home with a familiar interface. Let's recreate this monosynth from scratch as we go through Mela 4's fundamental concepts. In Mela, you can add one of 3 types of lanes: audio, MIDI and instrument. Let's start with an instrument lane, which takes MIDI as input and produces audio as output. In Mela, you insert modules on lanes to create processing chains. The first thing I'm going to insert is an amp envelope module. And in front of it, I'll insert a virtual analog oscillator. Now I have a simple sawtooth waveform. I can easily change the waveform type. I want an even richer sound, so I'll insert another oscillator module. Now I may wish to transpose the frequency of the second module by an octave. To do that, I will insert a relative pitch module. It may not be obvious as to how this works. Let me explain. Besides audio and MIDI signals, Mela also supports the pitch signal type. When an instrument lane receives a MIDI note on event, it is converted to a pitch signal implicitly. The pitch signal flows through all modules. The oscillator modules make use of it to produce waveforms of that frequency. Use pitch processor modules to manipulate the pitch signal. In our case, the relative pitch module transposes the signal down an octave. I can even slightly detune it to make the sound richer. Now let's process our audio some more by inserting a filter. We can modulate the filter's cutoff frequency using the amp envelope's modulator signal. Now let's try to add an arpeggiator. For that, we need to create a MIDI lane and route its output to our instrument lane. And let's make use of the other instance of the Mela plugin, which is inserted as a MIDI processor to trigger chords. Okay, now on each note on event, I would like the filter cutoff to be changed by random amount. For that, I will insert a MIDI source modulator. Set the input type to random and modulate the filter frequency. And at the same time, I want the notes to have longer attack times for the lower filter frequency values. Now let's add some audio effects to round out the sound. For that, let's create a new audio lane and route the output of the instrument lane to its input. You'll notice I'm using audio and MIDI buses to route signals between the lanes. On our audio lane, let's insert a metering module to monitor the levels. I would like to saturate the sound a little. We can use a distortion module for that. Let's drive the filter a little harder for some extra harmonics. And the stereo delay effect could add some space to the sound. For extra fun, let's insert an LFO module to modulate the delay times. Let's add some final touches to this preset by adding a few parameters to the perform view. You can also extend this further and have more fun. That's all for now. Mela 4 addresses a lot of common user requests, but the work is not done yet. Mela capabilities will continue to expand with regular updates, just as it did over the past 3 years. For full details, check out the Changelog. If you enjoy using Mela, leave a review on the App Store. And for any questions or feedback, leave a comment below. See you next time.